Roll it up. Roll it up, only smoke it if it's all day, don't play, smoking on that. Roll it up, only smoke it if it's all day, don't play. Look, more better, go get a trendsetter, get cheddar. I got a problem with talking if you get no fedder. No smoke, no choke, it's no joke. I know some niggas that's walking around with no hope. Barred out like niggas you facing 25. Couple bitches you fake, they used to call me bro. I know they hating cause Geechee baby is well alive. Just rapping, my actions long lasting. No laughing, my talent God bodied. I'm envy, it's crazy, it started as a hobby. Little ones like to party like it's Lottie Dottie. And ain't no telling how it might go. Grab a blunt, gon' light those. Get high off life, roll it up. Only smoke it if it's natural. Only smoke it if it's roll it up, only smoke it if it's all day, don't play, smoking on that. Roll it up, only smoke it if it's all day, don't play. Look.
Roll it up, only smoke it if it's roll it up, only smoke it if it's
All right. Hey, y'all. It's Trent Knox with the Trent Knox Show. Season 2. Episode 16. Solo episode. I'm not going to be in here I'm not going to be here that long or too long. I have a interview guest podcast with Waterloo Music Festival on the Austin Live and Local channel. The Austin Live and Local podcast, live from the ATX Waterloo Festival with Briggs Mitchell, one of the co-founders of the Waterloo Fest, and also a portion of the promotions company Giant Noise. If you guys don't know about that, they're a pretty big promotions company out here in the Texas area, putting on a lot of these big festivals, such as ACL, South by Southwest, the offshoot things like Jambalaya or Jump On It, or those type of festivals out here. Yeah, today is going to be a little bit different. I mean, I have some things to talk about as far as my website. My website's in the development process. We are putting together the TrentKnox.com website. It's going to have like an About Me portion, the podcast, the blogs, the vlogs. It's going to have some of the similar formatting as the AustinLiveAndLocal.com website, but it's going to be focused on me as a content producer, content creator, however you want to phrase it or however you want to put it. It's going to have some of the services that I offer as far as videography, photography, audio engineering, the like that. And I can't wait to like really be on top of all this as we're getting closer and closer to the development of the Trent Knox Show. And as you can see, I'm live on Twitch YouTube and Periscope at this time. And we got a couple different things going on. I need to adjust the settings a bit. The particular, like, the software that I use, I'm not yet comfortable with it. I saw some warnings while I was using Restream to rebroadcast these episodes around. Also, I need to just be able to get together with more like-minded individuals to see what's going on. I don't really I don't necessarily know how to get all these things together in one way, but we'll definitely do our best to do Austin Live and Local to the highest that it can be produced, and additionally do our best to get the my best to get the Trent Knox show to another level as well. So let's just out the gate. Let me plug the Anchor.fm. Anchor.fm is my distribution service that I use for podcasting. It enables me to distribute this Trent Knox show on all the major digital streaming platforms, and they just actually implemented a monetization feature called listener support, and for as little as $1 a month, you can help me produce shows like the Trent Knox Show, Live from the ATX, the Creators Podcast that's going to be coming out here soon, and the Hip Hop Podcast that's coming out of the branch of Creators as well. And I just want to go back, and yesterday I forgot to, on the Brian Kern episode, plug that, so I just want to come back and do that again. Additionally, there is the opportunity to support me through TTS and right now through the live feed on Twitch, and I'll try to implement something sort of like that through YouTube and Periscope as well as we get further down this process. But right now we're at baby steps. We're getting there. I'm gonna try and do as much as I can to upload these videos to YouTube and then post them again on the website, so you can go there and kind of look and see what is available to watch at the time. So let's get into some of the subjects that I've been talking about on the Austin Live and Local channel, as well as this Trent Knox show, and that has to do with the political atmosphere that is going on in the area, as well as the United States at large, and then foreign policy and whatnot. On the previous live from the ATX, I did speak with Travis Duncan. We are the mayor, the new mayoral candidate for the Austin mayor seat. And I had a great interview with him, speaking about subjects about Austin, but like a lot of the people said that commented on those posts, they said that he really didn't provide a lot of legislation concepts to which it could really change anything that's happening in the system. And you know what? Even though that's the case, he had a lot of good ideas toward a future where we all are kind of inputting and outputting as much as we can in as a society, rather than relying on representatives who don't necessarily always work for everyone's best interest. And as a community, we kind of we self-govern ourselves through applications or some sort of digital platform. And since I talked about that last time on a Twitch episode that I did, I talked to an individual through the chat, and that person kind of was frustrated with what I had to say, and I want to apologize to him if he comes back and watches the VOD on this one, that I'm sorry if we got a miscommunication, or that there was some sort of issue in the way that we were communicating. But what I was trying to say is that it's neither here nor there as to what we are, but the community at large, whether that's humanity, and obviously we got to worry about animals and whatnot, and our ecosystem altogether. My point is that the platforms that we use, whether that's Twitter, like Periscope that I'm using right now, or YouTube, which is Google, or Facebook, which is its own entity, they should be serving the greater good, and I think that the people that are creating the content that lives on these platforms are the people that'll speak best to what should and shouldn't be on the platform. And when TOS does not starts to work towards a small minority of individuals and not be focused on providing the best services for everyone, and starting to limit certain things, where limit free speech is what we're talking about, we begin to have problems. And in that, we should always be offering new sorts of services. So like maybe the TOS system for Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, Instagram, Facebook are pretty much the same thing. YouTube or Blogger, or it's hard to think of something that's not already within the big three. Amazon and being Twitch, these sort of platforms should, once there is a issue in the TOS, there should be an active discussion about the move, or what direction is potentially a good direction to go in when the big brother state of actually the nanny state of, because they're really getting into personal issues that don't necessarily need to be dealt with at a TOS level, but maybe as need basis for individuals, because it starts limiting the actual real news, so that they can change the narrative of the news. So if that particular entity doesn't think that right-winged conservative individuals should have a voice, which they should in a democratic society, we need to work on tools that have both checks and balances for everyone's opinion, but not limit their free speech. And I think that's a big concern that we've been seeing with what's been going on with Facebook, especially, more recently with Twitch. And what's been going on with Twitch is that there's been a body shaming issue with females, and having to both work on both sides. So if you're too revealing, that's harassment toward women who are not really revealing, and the opposite. So if you're less revealing, that's a body shame as well, because now the people who are more revealing are saying that they're questioning the gender, and creating a whole different problem than there need to be, because everyone should be it is true that everyone should be able to self-identify and work to what they are. I mean, I'm particularly a cis male. I mean, I identify with being a male since birth, and so it's more difficult for me to adopt these new cultural belief systems, or being politically correct is a little bit more difficult when you don't necessarily know what the climate of right and, or not right and wrong, but nice and not nice are. And that you see, your elders or the people that you look up to, your mentors, behaving in a way that necessarily doesn't mean nice or not nice. It could be misconstrued, or is construed in a way that is not nice, or mean in some sort of way, or harmful. And I think that the more that we talk about these subjects, the more that we all will learn about how to be nicer to each other. I definitely didn't look into much about the difference between gender equality and binary versus non-binary genders, but as I look into it more, I kind of understand how people can be feeling negatively about the way that they're judged, or the way that they're kind of categorized or archetyped in a way that doesn't necessarily tell the world who they are, because maybe like myself and Brian Kern were talking about yesterday on this show, that everyone should be able to self-identify, but it becomes difficult when there's 79 gender pronouns, and he, they, the, that, this, that, the other, and no one knows what you are. And then but it makes it even more difficult when parents are trying to be as politically correct as they can be and provide their child with the best chance of success in life and happiness, by putting placing judgments on their placing judgments, and also doing interestingly different new concepts of parental guidance, I guess, in that taking their children to a therapist or counselor of some sort and trying to work out what their lives are, the direction of their lives, gender wise, sexually, whatever it may be. And Brian and I had talked about this, and it does become a problem, because if let's say Sally is going to, it has a family that's supported enough, is financially, number one, financially well off enough to afford health care that it provides counseling, and it's not, and if not with insurance or health care, but out of pocket costs to pay for something like that. And then Tom, Sally she's just a little bit confused. She doesn't know why her parents are asking, or she doesn't this or that, But Tom, he has known since he was very young that he was what the heck? But Tom or Josh or whatever, they have known that from a young age they related, or they believe themselves to be the opposite gender, or a gender that we don't necessarily know. I mean, that we're not talking about. Brief, 1 second. I need to take a drink. That we don't know about the gender that we haven't discovered. He's that, and his parents have been telling him his whole entire life that he's something else other than the thing that he believes he is. That can lead to a problem long term, maybe down the road. We haven't seen this. There's no scientific evidence of this yet being the case, and obviously not enough information to actually see any good sample groups or cultures from that. But it's only time will tell till that's the case, and I think that's right around the corner. I guess as we decide what is right and wrong, we can just we can only go off of what we know and our history of what we've experienced. And I think experiences are going to become more and more often, given that that our society is kind of intermixed. Our societies, different types of societies, are intermixing, utilizing this thing we call the internet and the web. And another thing that we talked about on the last previous episode was the conflict between what is supposed to be on the dark web and what's supposed to be on the light web. Light, dark, kind of Star Wars-esque type talk here, but we're talking about good versus bad because the dark web is supposedly this place that bad things exist, whereas on the good or the light web is supposed to be these holistic good things that the the Facebooks, well, that's how much of that is good and how much of that is bad is the question, or the Twitters or the Instagrams, the Twitches, the whatever, the consumer portions of the what we know as the web, not the dark web. We were talking about the dark web and that being the Silk Road, which has since been shut down, but the Tor network in general, which was a system of communication designed by the U.S. Navy to communicate over privatized networks, and which eventually developed the use of blockchain technology to oh my gosh, why can't I get my words out here? To create markets and commerce and an economy on a untrackable system that doesn't work off of IPs and geolocation and things that have now become utilized tools for the Big Brother world that we live in. You know what I mean? I almost said USADA. The Big Brother world that we live in the nanny state of the having all of the voice enabled devices in our house, the webcam on every single computer that we get, some sort of access into our private lives. The whole idea of getting away to the library in your house, which you have to be pretty well off to have your own like study or library in your house. However, being able to retreat to that area and not being in the public eye or being recorded or whatever, it becomes more and more difficult to sector yourself off from this digitized world that we live in, aside from going off the grid and going to do like a backpacking trip or something along the lines like that. I think that as we decide what's right and wrong in this future digital age, whether that's creating artificial intelligence that's also a part of the cyber robotics that's able to birth humans and grow, is that something that'll ethically become something that we deem right? You know what I mean? In recent times, that has been something that we've faux pas or disagreed with, in that that natural children birth in some at some context of the word, because now we do have physicians and whatnot, helping in birthing children, and additionally we have the opposite of that, which is this water birthing or natural birthing. I was born in a hospital, and does that make me any less of a human being than somebody who was born holistically, with the outside of that digitized, which I was born on the cusp of that digitized use system within the hospital system. But what's the difference? To some degree, I guess it's just tools that are being used that aren't being used in a home birthing situation or natural birthing situation. And will we see the same sort of concepts follow us into this new digital age or robotic age or cybernetic age that we're moving into now, where we got drones flying around all over the place and being monitored 24/7 in the public through CCTV cameras, and being tracked, with the implementation of RFID chips into every single device that you own, and additionally all of your like state identification cards or anything that maintains some sort of barcode. They're starting to implement RFID chips into those things, and including into your computers and any type of electronic device. It's an easy way to track authenticity and accuracy as far as things go. So as we move forward into this new, like, I don't want to say dystopian, because there's not enough data to really say that it is or it isn't going to be a dystopian future. But as we move into this new future, we have to be questioning these type of things. You know what I mean? So what about the fact that we're putting a lot of information onto this cloud data server that's gonna, well, number one, there's benefits, pros and cons, and some of the pros seem to be outweighing the cons, because once you're uploading it to this server and not offline, you're giving it the opportunity. Well, here's the problem. There's two problems here, and additionally, it's a good thing. When you're uploading it to the thing, it's more likely that you won't lose that piece of content than if you kept it on like a off-site hard drive, because these servers are being backed up constantly. You know what I mean? So like, if you're uploading it to Google Drive or iCloud or Dropbox or whatever your cloud-based data platform is, even if you're uploading to video, you're streaming it live. Or on YouTube, you're uploading videos, or wherever you're doing it, you're maintaining a record of that. Problem is though, when you do it live and you don't record like a side version of it, they downscale the quality of the product, and additionally, you're also providing the person that you're giving the content to the opportunity to decide whether or not it's not a quality piece of work. And I guess this is something we also did talk about in the Brian Kern last episode, was this with Alex Jones being kicked off of not kicked off of YouTube altogether, but his channel being shut down on YouTube, the InfoWars and the Alex Jones channel. That is number one, it's they're making an example of him, saying that this type of person who's gone through this and done this doesn't necessarily need to be harmful, but who's to determine that that's harmful and what's right or what's wrong, and censorship and whatnot. That's probably the good side of it. The bad side of it is, what if they're doing it for nefarious reasons, and not for to change the political dogma that we're living by, or change the narrative of what people deem right and wrong, by just getting rid of anything that's questioning the reality we live in. Or not the reality that we live in, but the reality that they're creating for us. And who's to know what that is? That's the question. We're all asking, what reality are you creating for us? If you're constantly updating the betas and turning things into alphas, what is the direction? Because it's not a lot of these things are contradictory to the mission statement of the company. So when these things are contradictory to the mission statement of the company, or the ledger or whatever that they are putting out there, you have to question these things, because maybe they didn't realize they allowed certain people to gain access, control to the system and then change things. And I guess that's probably why they're questioning this Alex Jones situation, is because he gained too much access and influence, maybe, and in that being the case, it changed the narrative of what YouTube's about or whatever be the case, and maybe that's why they made the limitation, but who knows. Additionally, we talked about the Kim Kardashian Instagram uploads that happened a couple days ago. By God, she's sexy. And you know what? Forgive her. God forgive that she did a sex tape. You know what I mean? But she's been adding a lot to that body, and I mean banging body for sure. But the tots were hanging out in the back, in the front. Sorry about that. And the buns were hanging out in the back. You know what I mean? So it was questioning. I was questioning it because, is it appropriate for the type of lewd content like that to be being posted on an Instagram? Mind you, that's not the worst thing I've seen on Instagram, but it's still like you can see her nipples and through the shirt. There's no doubt about that. She's hanging out with the bobs, and I question like what's appropriate, right? Is that appropriate, or is that something that we need to be limiting or whatnot? I'm sure it got kind of flagged by this point in time, but you know what I mean? Free the nipple, hashtag free the nipple. You know what I mean? But that's because I'm a cis male, and if it was a cis female, she might be a super conservative lady that doesn't want to see that type of thing and wants to limit and be a dictator as to what should and shouldn't be on on Instagram, or what we put on big mainstream platforms like that, especially since it's Kim Kardashian, who's a spokesperson for entertainment in the channel E. Does she speak for the viewers and the people who watch that content, and is she a good role model for those people, or is she not? You know what I mean? But I can tell you this much: whatever she is doing, she's doing it right. Moving on to some of the crowdfunding portion of this, and I just want to do a quick plug here again. Remember, I host this podcast on Anchor.fm, and they distribute it to all the major DSPs, digital streaming platforms. And I really, I couldn't speak more highly of this platform. They've always been updating things. Recently, they implemented a feature called listener support, which helps me monetize this podcast. Additionally, other shows that I do, and helps me fund things. If you're able to, only if you're able to, please go over on there and for $1 a month, you can help support this podcast. And there are different levels and tiers of options and support, but go over there and check it out. If you're unable to, please, just following and liking my channels. I'm at Trent Knox TV on pretty much everything, or at Trent Knox, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, I think, and YouTube is in the works. I mean, I'm just building it up, but mind you, don't subscribe to the YouTube just yet. I'm going to be taking the YouTube uploads that I'm doing right now, and then I'm going to be moving them over to the official Trent Knox YouTube channel. As I've been building this platform up, I began to create the website, the business, all the portions of what needs to happen to make this a successful show and a successful channel. And I just want to say thank you for the support that you've given me so far, and that I can't wait to see what we can do together as far as content creation, because really what this show is about, the Trent Knox Show, is bringing content to creators together, content lovers and enthusiasts and whatnot, and we can really just put out great content, good movies, good music, good art, good any type of entertainment. All I'm looking to do is provide good entertainment value to the viewers and the content creators. So whether that's a shirt or or some sort of whatever it is that I can produce in and put out there as merchandise, or whether that's the content I create, whatever it may be. I just want to make it the best that it can be, and with the most sample grouping, whatever it is, and make it amazing. But again, thank you. That was just a little plug real quick. And then I want to kind of get back into the first question that I asked on the podcast yesterday with Brian Kern. It's how do you manage your concentration is what I said. And I wanted to rephrase it. Oh, pardon me. I lost the audio there for a second. Gonna have to cut that out in the in the post. Yeah, how do you manage to stay concentrated? Is exactly what I'm kind of thinking about. With something like this, where it's the podcast, and you gotta keep up a conversation with yourself or with the people, and you kind of go off the top, or freestyle a little bit about what needs to be said or what needs to be talked about. I mean, generally you got a couple topics that you're talking about, boom, 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 covering those. Though, like, how do you manage yourself concentration wise outside of the content creation, and how do you manage to get things done or remember to get things done, such as like, washing the car or feeding the dog or cleaning the house or whatever it may be that needs to happen on a pretty much a consistent basis, a scheduled system, and I got to say that I'm not the best at this. I'm not the best at organization. So stuff like how do you manage anything? It's based on, I got to go through and write a list and pick those topics or those tasks that I need to get done, mark them off. And sometimes I just leave them on there because, it's going to come up real soon, whether that's going to the doctor and getting a checkup, or, talking to a friend, whatever it may be. But you forget a lot. I forget a lot. Sorry. I was just talking to myself. I forget a lot of things, such as hopefully it's not brushing my teeth or flushing the toilet, or things that are like basic, you know what I mean. But from time to time, I'm one of those people that forgets to flush the toilet. You hop in the shower and you don't want to like fuck up the hot water, so you leave your feet, you leave your bathroom, your potty, or whatever you want to call it. I don't want to say, you leave your shit in the toilet, and you forget to flush, and then you leave it in there for a day, and then you find it, and it's usually you who finds the present, and you have to flush that stuff and make sure you take care of business. At least in a household that you live on your own, you leave a present for a family member, or your girlfriend or something like that in the toilet, and then they're extremely angry. You know what I mean? But I guess the point of it is that there's stuff that you gotta get done, and those basic things that you gotta get done. Hopefully you're accomplishing those and you don't forget them, especially if you have something to take care of, like your girlfriend or a baby or your dog, or these things that actually rely on you. And I'm lucky enough at this point in time, being a single cis male, that there's not much other than I have my dog. I don't have any kids or anything like that. I'm single. That I don't have anything that relies on me. You know what I mean? To some certain degree, my family and whatnot. And I, from time to time, it's like, shucks, why do you have to be so unable to take care of yourself? But again, man, there were years from when I was growing up, and I'm not really grown up now. I'm 28, about to be turned 25, and I don't feel grown up that much at all. I feel like I'm, just now coming to a point where I'm becoming responsible for myself and able to think about the things I've done wrong in life, and what led to those things being wrong, and having a direction, a sense of direction in yourself and what you need to accomplish. And I think that has something to do with the perspective of the way people look at you, and if they tend to look at you like you're a fool or a flake or someone that doesn't follow through with what you do when you say, then you know, and that may be true or may not be true, but if that's something that happens, then it can lead to negative experiences in your own life. And that happened with me a lot because I was living under my parents' roof for quite a bit of time, and then I live under my grandmother's roof now, and that they doubt, they have a lot of doubt, they have a lot of self-doubt for themselves, because times when they were growing up and they were experiencing things were different. You know, some of you guys are lucky enough to have family that has moved forward with technology, and I'm not saying that both my parents haven't moved along with technology, but even the grandparents or the great grandparents have moved along as well with technology and adopted those procedures and learn how to use them. But some people's parents are in that are in that demographic of people, and so you're constantly battling with explaining to them that life is a little easier if there are tools to convey your message. You know what I mean? And I was always kind of reluctant to put myself out there, you know, as far as this digital content is concerned and being online, or, you know, and for a while it was due to this constant fear mongering that was happening from my family. But living offline was just as bad, you know, family meaning people who were offline, you know what I mean? The people who weren't really producing a lot of content and putting it out there, whether that was on the phone, you know, back in the day with landline or whatever it was, you know, they weren't really doing a lot. You were doing a lot less. They were limiting. They were being conservative, maybe, or maybe, oh man, what's the word for it? I forgot what the word I'm talking about is, but minimalist, and being minimalist, and reducing the amount of footprint that they were putting on. But at some point when you're a young man or you're a young woman, you need for people to understand who you are. In this day and age, people don't really communicate face to face that much, and if they do, it has to be extremely well planned. Not to say that communication online shouldn't be well planned, but you should have some direction and an idea of what you want to say and what you don't want to say. But sometimes you need to be who you are and not have a scripted amount of things to say, and you need to be able to roll off the top. But not everybody's able to roll off the top because they're just not that. That's not their thing. Instead, they're someone who needs to plan and write and think because it takes a long time for them to develop content. And maybe I'm gifted in the sense that I'm able to, you know, come up with things off the cuff and go at it and keep on talking and going and going and going. But that's through a lot of practice. I mean, I was constantly being put on the edge with the stuff I was doing in college, but that didn't really come to fruition until like now, when I'm in front of the camera, I'm doing the acting, I'm doing the speaking or whatever it is in front of a camera to provide content. Not everyone has had that kind of media training, you know what I mean? And I forced myself into that media training. I didn't ask for anyone to come and film me or do this or whatever. I was part of a couple different films and whatnot in college, but I don't really promote or advertise that I was in these things, because it doesn't necessarily it doesn't tell everyone what I do. In that was someone else kind of directing, producing, or whatever they were doing, you know. And I don't mean that in a negative way, like whatever they were doing, that is not what I do, but in like their method didn't necessarily tell the story of who I am, and in that my acting is as if I'm acting as something else or someone else is what changes the narrative of the way people think I am. You know what I mean? And half the time, I just want people to understand that there's a difference between documentary work and also narrative filmmaking. So, like with narratives, you could see me on camera, but that doesn't necessarily mean that was who I was, and that's something that's interesting. And additionally, I never really took pictures of myself. You know what I mean? I never was like, all right, you know what? Today I'm gonna go do a photo shoot, and in that it's my photo shoot. So when I was growing up, all the pictures that were of me were someone else trying to paint that narrative of who I was when I really wasn't anyone. You know what I mean? I wasn't anyone. I am who I am now today with all the influences and the studies and the research that I have done and the things I like, the data that I consume. And if I don't voice those things, then I'm not true to the person I am. Now, I can already hear people saying like, "Oh, well, I like the old you." Well, what was the old me? You never knew the real old like what was the old me? It didn't really change much as far as like what I choose to do, but I wasn't very like talkative, you know what I mean? I didn't really speak my mind. I did, but it usually was through like physical abuse or some sort of fucked up thing that I did, you know, punch. I got in fights and stuff like that. But I think I'd rather speak and rationalize what I do now. And I was thinking about this earlier. I was thinking about these people who are getting paid to fight, like in the UFC and whatnot. They rationalize it because it's a story, it's a show being put on. However, when I was young, street fighting, which is essentially the same thing except without this regulations, was because we weren't thinking the same way. We were subjected to societies that were telling us what was right and wrong that wasn't the same. You know, we were fighting over what's right and wrong. You know, whether a dude slipped it into my girlfriend or, you know, was treating a girl bad on the while we were walking around, or, you know, someone started fucking with me for no apparent reason, or like, you know, as a part of a sport or some shit like that, where you didn't have the right coaches, you didn't have the right mentors or whatever to tell you like what the sport's about. So you're just fighting over like what the sport should be about. And these coaches are just real shitty, you know, real shitty football coaches or real shitty wrestling coaches, real shitty powerlifting coaches, whatever it may be. That's my experience. Whether yours was cheerleading, badminton, tennis, basketball, soccer, whatever it is, and you're getting in fights, it's because someone's not teaching you the proper way to behave. And it's weird because then you grow up, you become an adult, and you start analyzing your parents, the coaches, the people that are around, and you realize that they weren't necessarily right when it comes to the overall societal rights, norms, and whatnot. They had their own belief systems. They decided whether, you know, being homosexual was right, whether being black or white or Hispanic or any color was right, whether owning a gun was right, whether playing the flute while walking backwards was right. You know what I mean? These adults were deciding what the youth should and shouldn't do. Whereas if you gave the power to the youth, the argument is that they might potentially start fucking each other and, you know, spreading diseases, because you see them as kids and they're like booger eaters and throwing things on the ground and, you know, contracting mad diseases in which you get the disease, you know, because you're subjected to taking care of that animal, taking care of that child or that animal or whatever, you know, if you choose not to have kids, whatever that may be. And this is a wild ride, and I appreciate you guys tuning in for this episode. I have 10 minutes before I'm going to go knock off another episode on the Live from the TKS show with Mitchell Briggs Mitchell of Waterloo Festival. I'm gonna cut this one off here. You guys can go check that out. It'll be on Facebook, I believe, and it'll be on as much as I want it to be on everything else. We'll see what happens. I'm about to look over here real quick, and on the outro, don't forget listener support. Check it out. Anchor.fm. It'll be in the description of the podcast. I've linked it several times on Facebook, Twitter. I haven't put it on Instagram, but I appreciate you guys tuning in. On the outro here, I'm going to play another song by the guy Geechee Show. Geechee Shores, actually. Geechee Shores. He is a local hip hop artist in the Austin area. He what the hell? What is this shit? He was another artist I discovered from the local hip hop network. But I hope you guys enjoy. Take it easy. Oh, one thing before I close this off. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Trent Knox TV. Yep, that's it. Oh yeah, let me run this back. I forgot to say, Geechee Shores, the first song on the intro was Natural. The outro song is Geechee Shores, Enough.
All of my niggas is soldiers, and we be blowing that doja. Trip to LA in October, penthouse, yeah, sober. I swear I been on the low, cause I'm stacking my bread and these niggas don't know it. Geechee baby, he the coldest. By the end of the year, I'ma show it. You might not hear this till November. I go so hard in the winter. I play my part in the circle. I came so far that I'm winning. I can't help but want the racks though, so I tax niggas, that's facts though. Still screaming free tax tone, yeah, I hear him hating where they at though. I put this beat in the casket, 2018, I'ma let niggas have it. I'm about to be living lavish, plus I got niggas with me that'll aim at your attic. But I don't fuck with that karma, if it ain't about commas, then I do away with the drama. I be hotter than the sauna, cause I do this shit for my mama, she get all my honor. Clutch, Steph Curry with the lights out. Niggas biting like Mike now. Fuck niggas need to pipe down. I don't speak nothing but truth. I gotta do what I do. Kyrie number 2. Hit him with that Uncle Drew. Can't believe what I do. Fuck it, I'm ballin', I'm all the way clutch. You know my niggas, we don't give a fuck. I swear that I put my all in the shit. I wonder why money ain't calling enough. Fuck it, I'm ballin', I'm all the way clutch. You know my niggas, we don't give a fuck. I swear that I put my all in the shit. I wonder why money ain't calling enough. I do this shit for the clout and the buck. I know some niggas just all the way stuck. Niggas ain't taking the chances I take. Don't look my direction, I'm calling your bluff. I do this shit for the clout and the buck. I know some niggas just all the way stuck. Niggas ain't taking the chances I take. Don't look my direction, I'm calling your bluff. Hey, don't look my direction, I'm calling your bluff, nigga. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Geechee in this motherfucker had to do another one for y'all, you know what I'm saying?